Welcome to the Rallye du Maroc 2022. This is the 22nd edition of one of the toughest events on the Rally Raid calendar, and it all starts here in Agadir, a modern and vibrant city on the Atlantic coast. Some of the top riders and drivers in the world gathered at the Adrar Stadium for scrutineering. The big names are all here in the bikes, with KTM, Husqvarna, GasGas, Sherco, Honda and Hero. Some teams have come to fight for victory and valuable points in the World Rally Raid Championship, while others are testing out their machines ahead of Dakar 2023. There are going to be a few surprises in store for Stefan Petter Hansel & Co. Instead of taking place in its usual spot around Merzouga and Erfoud, the rally is set to discover the southwest of Morocco with 5 days around Agadir, Tantan and Laayoune. Well, let's take a closer look at what's in store. The rally director, David Castera, talks us through the changes in the route for 2022. We've come to Agadir to explore the south of Morocco. We're going to Tantan and Laayoune for a loop before coming back up to Agadir. This year we're going to be moving around, so it's like a mini Dakar. The stages are similar with lots of navigation. It's a bit different to usual, and it's always interesting to offer new challenges.
I just try and get ready for this race and do my best in this one. In our sport, so many things can change and happen along the way.
Last year I won for the first time the Morocco Rally, so it's a special race for me. For sure I want to win, so I will fight until the end.
Pablo Quintanilla came to Morocco looking to defend his crown in the bikes and close the gap on the leader Sam Sunderland in the W2RC, but the Chilean's hopes were damaged by an unfortunate crash on stage 1B.
In one moment I see like a clean line and push, and when I realized I was flying over the handlebar, and yeah, I hit my shoulder pretty hard.
Despite his injuries, Quintanilla still soldiered on to finish 10th overall. Ross Branch got the Hero Motorsports team off to a fine start. After going quickest in the prologue, the Kalahari Ferrari took stage honours in the first full-length outing between Agadir and Tantan. It's a nice turnaround for Branch, who suffered nasty crashes at the Dakar and the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge. Branch continued to show great pace in spite of a few minor scrapes, although a 15-minute penalty for later changing the engine on his Hero meant that he had to be content with 8th place overall. It was a challenging rally for the Sherco factory team, who are usually right up there. Rui Gonçalves came 14th, while Harit Noah was forced to abandon. Lorenzo Santolino, who was finished as high as 6th on the Dakar, never really got going either. He ended up 13th, describing the rally as one of the hardest he's ever done. Toby Price knows what it takes to win in Morocco, having triumphed at this rally in 2016 and 2018. And the Australian was in a strong position heading into the final 2 stages, sitting 3rd overall. However, he wouldn't get the chance to fight for another win. This unfortunate crash brought an end to his rally. The Australian stepped off his KTM at refuelling. In line with standard safety protocols, he was taken to hospital for a checkup. Luckily, there were no major injuries, but he will need some time to recover. Price's teammate, Kevin Benavides, still wears the number 1 plate thanks to his victory at Dakar 2021, but it was setting off in first position in the prologue here that really messed up his rally strategy. The Argentine was never able to claw back the time that he subsequently lost on stage 1B, eventually finishing in 6th place. Sam Sunderland had a solid enough rally, but he was never in a position to add to his victories at the Dakar and Abu Dhabi. The World Championship leader was unimpressed with some of the navigation, particularly the hidden waypoints in off-piste sections, saying it was like finding needles in haystacks. He came 5th overall, but with Quintanilla struggling and Matthias Walkner absent after shoulder surgery, the British rider actually increased his lead in the W2RC standings. Of course, not everybody was thinking in terms of overall position and World Championship points. They were simply enjoying the cruise up the Atlantic coastline. There was a new face in the Honda paddock this week, Adrian van Beveren, who has traded blue for red after Yamaha pulled out of the bikes. And the Frenchman made a very impressive start to life with his new team, picking up 2 stage victories. After some frustrating years at the Dakar, Van Beveren looks like he may have found a bike that could put him on the overall podium. There are still some kinks to iron out, but AVB did a solid job with navigation on his way to 4th place overall.
I really improve day per day. My riding, I get confident again, and the bike is going amazing. I feel really comfortable, and I'm super happy for the future.
When Ricky Brabec lines up on a rally, only victory will do. The American says that anything less than that is kind of unacceptable. Well, he was forced to accept 3rd place overall, although he was happy to pick up his first stage victory of 2022 on day 4. Brabec also closing the gap on 2nd place in the W2RC rankings. But one team stood head and shoulders above the rest at this Rallye du Maroc, completing a remarkable 1-2. Husqvarna Factory Racing with the top dogs, with Luciano Benavides showing that he is much more than just Kevin's little brother. The Argentine did a fantastic job with navigation, spending 300 kilometres at the front when he opened on stage 4. He went home with a stage victory and a very promising 2nd place overall, not to mention helping out the man who took the title. What a week it has been for Skylar Howes. A couple of years ago, the American was a privateer who was forced to sell off his possessions to pay for his entry to the Dakar. Fast forward to 2022, and he is a fully fledged professional riding for Husqvarna and showing he is capable of beating the very best. Howes remained consistent throughout, pushing when he needed to push, easing off when it was smart, and doing an excellent job with the roadbook. That meant that he was able to celebrate the biggest victory of his career so far.
I don't even have the words right now to explain what I'm feeling, because this is just like, man, it was always just a dream for me to race rallies in general, and to be here on a factory bike now and winning a world championship is it's the coolest feeling in the world.
Howes winning by over 7 minutes from his teammate Benavides, followed by Brabec, Van Beveren and Sunderland. Sunderland is still sitting pretty in the W2RC with a 22-point lead over Quintanilla. Brabec is looking good for a podium spot. Mason Klein wrapped up victory in the Rally 2 class with 1 round to spare, the talented young American making it 3 wins from 3 in 2022. He finished 40 minutes ahead of his nearest rival, Bradley Cox. Meanwhile, the Moroccan fans were able to celebrate as local star Amin Eshiger took the honours in the Rally 3 class. Manuel Andujar was the top man in the quads, 46 minutes clear of Axel Dutry. The Argentine is now determined to recover his Dakar crown from Alexandre Giroud in Saudi Arabia.
We are here in Morocco with the SAP front of us, and I think both of us will be a really big push in this race.
I know Nasser is very strong here in Morocco. We are nearly equal at the championship. We'll have to fight for it.
Unlike Nasser Al-Attiyah and Sebastien Loeb, Audi aren't concerned by the World Rally Raid Championship. They were in Morocco to test their second-generation RSQ e-tron. Because they were running 2023 specs, they had to take part in a separate open class. We can't wait to see where we are compared to our rivals. Well, Stefan Petter Hansel admitted it was a rather strange week, with the Audis not getting properly involved in the battle for overall victory. But they were very satisfied with the reliability of their car in the run-up to the Dakar. Carlos Sainz ended up as the quickest of the three. In fact, El Matador and Matthias Ekstrom went faster than the FIA cars on some of the stages. It's safe to say that Audi are looking much more ready for Saudi Arabia than they were heading into Dakar 2022. Jakub Brzezinski came into this rally with a new co-driver in Armand Monleon, who described this as a new partnership but an old friendship. Their previous experiences on a bike turned out to be very handy for the navigation. Since the new T1 Plus regulations came into force, it's been hard for this mini buggy to keep up with the four-wheel drive cars, but Kuba and Monleon still had a positive week, coming home in 6th. Martin Prokop really enjoyed the challenging nature of this rally, saying he hopes the Dakar will be just as hard. The Czech driver made big changes to the bodywork of his Ford Raptor, which is known as Shrek, and whilst they improved their top speed, they were still having issues with the dampers. In Prokop's words, they're close to the top guys, but not close enough. 5th place overall. Yazid Al-Rajhi had a week of ups and downs in his overdrive Toyota Hilux. The Saudi managed to pick up 2 stage wins, but he also suffered some mechanical problems, and that meant he had to be content with 4th place overall. Al-Rajhi praising his co-driver Dirk von Zitzewitz for a solid job with navigation. With a total haul of 29 points in the W2RC, he has also boosted his chances of a podium finish. But all eyes in Morocco were on the battle for the World Championship crown. Toyota Gazoo Racing versus BRX, Nasser Al-Attiyah versus Sebastien Loeb. They were separated by just a solitary point at the start of the rally. It was advantage Al-Attiyah after stage 1B. Loeb had an inauspicious start, losing over 20 minutes because of a broken wishbone and 2 punctures.
It's not the way we like to start the rallies because we are already far behind now.
But it was all change on stage 2 as Al-Attiyah also suffered the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. 4 punctures meant that he lost almost an hour.
We'll see tomorrow, and still we have 3 days. We try to be in the podium.
His loss was Loeb's gain, the Frenchman storming to victory in his pro-drive Hunter to take the overall lead.
We are again in the fight. That's more exciting than the situation of yesterday.
But it all fell apart for Loeb on stage 4 as he lost power steering. He was unable to finish and went plummeting down the standings.
It doesn't look great for the championship, but we don't know what will happen in the future.
Loeb did manage to win the final stage, but the damage was done. He didn't score any World Championship points in the overall standings, allowing Alatia, who finished third, to pull 22 points clear. The Qatari simply has to finish the job now in Spain.
Still we have Andalusia Rally, and we try to do our best, and just we need to finish with a good point and to win the championship.
Things didn't work out for Loeb, but it was still good news for the Bahrain Raid Extreme team as Orlando Terranova finished second overall. The Argentine hadn't competed since coming fourth at the Dakar in January, but was showing no signs of rust. He put in a very strong showing alongside Alex Haro. Terranova delighted to be back on the podium of the Rallye du Maroc, which he won in 2013. And the man who won it in 2022 was also behind the wheel of a pro-drive Hunter. Gerland Shishiri has endured quite a bit of frustration in Rally Raid over the years, but this was a timely reminder that the Frenchman is capable of beating the best. Shishiri praising his co-driver Alex Vinok for an incredible job as he added to his victory at last year's Silkway Rally. He's definitely a man to watch at the Dakar. It's good to see where we are. It's been a while since we've had a really competitive car, so it does take the pressure off a bit. We can have a breather and then start preparing for the Dakar. Shishiri taking the overall win by just under 11 minutes from Terranova, with Alatia half an hour back. In the W2RC, it's Nasser's to lose. He heads to Andalusia with a comfortable lead over the unfortunate Loeb. There were only two T2 cars participating in Morocco, with Akira Miura and Ronald Basso getting behind the wheel of this stylish new Toyota Land Cruiser. The Japanese driver finished a handful of seconds ahead of his French teammate, but both crews were satisfied with a useful week of testing before the Dakar. It's a familiar story in the T3s. The Red Bull Off-Road Junior team have some of the best young drivers in the business, with Quintero, Gutierrez, Guthrie and Amevius. But Chaleco Lopez is the man to beat, having won the Dakar and Abu Dhabi. It's becoming pretty common to see former bikers try their luck on four wheels, and Helder Rodriguez is one of the latest to take the plunge. A two-time podium finisher at the Dakar, he made a strong start with second place on stage 1B. He eventually ran into technical problems, but keep an eye out for him at future rallies. Hernan Garces has teamed up with Chaleco's former co-driver Juan Pablo Latrak, and the Chilean pair seem to have clicked nicely. After winning the Atacama Rally on home soil in September, they managed to bring their Can-Am Maverick home in fourth overall. It's been a busy summer for Guillaume de Mevius after his family team, G-Rally, took over as the main performance tuner for the Red Bull OT3s. After a host of mechanical issues in the past, he'll be happy that all four cars made it to the finish line. As a bonus, the Belgian picked up 2 stage victories. Mitch Guthrie's endured a tough 2022 up to this point. He missed the Dakar because of COVID and then suffered mechanical failure in Abu Dhabi. He wasn't quite up there at the business end of the leaderboard, but he will just be relieved to have finished in 5th overall. Cristina Gutierrez and her new co-driver Pablo Moreno were really looking to take the fight to Chaleco and boost their chances of overhauling him in the championship. Despite winning on stage 4 when she had no brakes, the Spaniard had to be content with 3rd place. Focus now switches to defending her title in Andalusia. Chaleco had come to Morocco looking to make it a perfect 3 out of 3 in 2022, but he ran into some trouble on stage 4. A damaged steering arm cost him the overall victory, but he and Oriol Mena held on to second place overall, just ahead of Gutierrez. He still boasts a commanding lead in the W2RC before the final round. We're very happy, we've had a good week. We kept pushing all the way to the end and things worked out well with Oriol, so all in all I think we did a very good job. Seth Quintero has picked up plenty of wins in his short but action-packed career, but the 20-year-old had never stood on the podium as the overall winner of a rally until now. For once, the American didn't suffer any major mechanical setbacks and rode a conservative final stage to make sure that he finally came home in P1.
I don't think I've ever driven so cautious and scared in my life. I've never been in the position to manage a lead. No, it was an awesome day today. A lot of fast sand, which is what my driving style is. But yeah, it's nice to be here at the finish line and call ourselves the overall winner.
Quintero taking it by 10 minutes from Chaleco and Gutierrez. Garces and Guthrie were a little further adrift. Chaleco still leads Gutierrez by 28 points in the W2RC, while Quintero is vying with his teammate for second place. In the T4s, things are hotting up nicely between the top 3 in the World Championship. Austin Jones, Marek Goksal and Rokas Baciuska came into this rally separated by just 15 points. But Jones ran into big trouble on stage 1B, losing four-wheel drive and getting stuck in the soft sand. Heavy penalties put paid to his hopes of a good overall result.
Just try to win stages from now on and gain as many points as possible and try to, minimize the damage from today.
Jones still finished 5th among W2RC competitors though, so he remains in the hunt for the world title. It was a similar story for Marek Goksal. His chances of overall victory were ruined by electrical issues on stage 2. But the Pole roared back to win the final 2 stages of the rally, joking at one point that his foot was hurting from stepping on the gas all day. Goksal taking the World Championship lead by the slenderest of margins before Andalusia. Well worth celebrating. Lucas Del Rio isn't your average rally raid driver. The Chilean is a New York-trained actor who only got into the sport a few years ago. But with help from compatriots like Chaleco Lopez, he's come on leaps and bounds, completing his maiden Dakar in January. He finished 4th overall and goes up to 4th in the W2RC standings. Jeremias Gonzalez is another man who has switched to the SSVs in recent years after starring in the quads. He's showing real promise behind the wheel of a South Racing Can-Am, coming 3rd here. In fact, South Racing managed to put 4 of their cars in the top 5 overall. The only interloper was this young man, and remember the name, Pau Navarro. The son of FN Speed manager Santi Navarro, Pau is just 18 years old and only got his driving licence in July, but clearly he's got some serious talent. Joined in his Can-Am Maverick by yet another former biker, Michael Mech, the Spanish teenager roared to 2nd place overall. But victory went to the rising star of the T4 category, Rokas Baciuska. 3rd at this year's Dakar, the Lithuanian celebrates his very first win in Rally Raid, and remarkably he achieved it in his very first outing with a new co-driver, Oriol Vidal. Just 2 points now separate Goksal, Baciuska and Jones at the top of the W2RC standings.
Disappointed that Jones and Marek cannot fight each other, this Rallye Morocco. That's his World Championship, and that I like, everybody's equal and the same. That is the World Champion.
Here's how they lined up overall in the T4s, with under 17 minutes separating the top 3. And just look how close it is in the World Championship. we are set for a grandstand finale in Spain. There were a few more trucks than usual here in Morocco. With Kamaz unlikely to be competing in the Dakar in January, their rivals sense there will be a big opportunity in Saudi Arabia. Martin Matchik took the rally victory in his new Iveco Power Star. The Czech's Technology team also helped Case Colan to conquer the W2RC in the final round for the trucks this year. The Dutchman has already tasted similar success in a host of other disciplines. He'll now focus on his Project 2030, which involves competing at the Dakar in a zero-emissions vehicle. First, though, they can celebrate the world title.
Unbelievable. First year in the truck, and then this, it's great, no?
It has been another spectacular edition of the Rallye du Maroc, which more than lived up to its billing as one of the toughest rallies in the world. There's no rest for the wicked though. Now it's off to Andalusia for the season finale, so do join us there, and thanks very much for watching.